sa ating walang tigil na pagsusulong ng ating advokasya. Sinamahan tayo ang taong bayan, mga kapwa Pilipino na patuloy na nakikinabang sa ating serbisyo. Nagsagawa tayo ng iba't ibang programa at naging tulay tayo sa pagtutulungan upang makabangon ng ekonomiya. At dahil sa ating sikap, nagawaran tayo ng iba't ibang paraan. At ngayon, tuloy pa rin ang ating misyon na mas lalong maihatid ang oportunidad ng angkas sa milyong-milyong kababayan na nangangailangan nito. Our mission is to eradicate poverty by showing them a better way in life. The Angkas way. Angkas, tara na!
Kamusta kayo dito? How's everybody here? Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much for SM Cares and the Global Peace Foundation for inviting me here. It's such an honor to talk in front of these future leaders. Sino dito ang nasa college na? Ha? Any one of you guys want to be entrepreneurs when you grow up? That's in a few years, the growing up. You'll grow up really fast when you become an entrepreneur because all the stress comes in. I guess in life, katulad nga, sinabi natin, no, in sports, kanina, nothing comes easy, right? And same thing with business, I guess in life in general. I want to start my presentation or my talk with a story. Alam mo, a few years ago, mga 2019, I was with one of my bikers, birthday niya. And then that biker of mine, nagpa-birthday sa bahay niya. And doon sa bahay niya, parang medyo magulo pa, it was under construction. Hindi niya nayabang niya sa akin na nakapagpagawa siya ng bahay. At talagang napakataba ng puso. Tumaba talaga yung puso ko to hear that. And magulo siya, pero alam mo, pag natapos, it was gonna be very nice. No? And for him and the other bikers there who were his colleagues, co-entrepreneurs, really, having a better life. It was really a sight to see. Pero while we were partying, nag-ring yung phone ko. And when I checked my phone, it was about, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Nakita ko it was my lawyer. Nako, I promise you, sa mga magiging entrepreneurs later on magkatrabaho, when you get a call from your lawyer at 9 p.m. in the evening, it's never a good thing. It's never good news. So I answered the phone, and then, yun na nga, sabi, George, we have a problem. The Supreme Court just TRO'd, binigyan kayo ng temporary restraining order, which means you have to stop operations for the second time. So syempre nandun ako sa party, di ba? And they told me I have to stop operations, and then everybody was having a good time, my bikers were there, and I had to keep a straight face. So I was just smiling the whole time while they were partying and thinking in my head, oh my God, what's going on? So iniisip ko sa utak ko, what should I do? Should I quit? Right? This is the second time we're getting shut down. Right? And all of us has come to a point in our lives. And there will be many, many points in our lives where we will be faced with a decision to either stop or go. Right? And that usually moving forward is always the path of least resistance. It's always the hardest thing to do, to keep pressing on. And you will have this type of experience moving forward. So, syempre, I was thinking in my head, should I just quit? I really, really, really wanted to quit at that time. There were many, many times, honestly. You'll see all of these accolades, this nice video that we had. Pero siguro I can't count na more than 100 times I really wanted to quit. But, I pressed on. I pressed on because when I slept, that was a Friday, and I thought it over on Saturday. On Sunday, something magical happened. Sunday, 30,000 bikers was out in EDSA. The video you saw earlier, yung Sea of Blue, 30,000 bikers were in EDSA fighting for their cause, fighting for our cause. And I didn't realize that this small little brand of Angkas that we did here in the Philippines, here in Metro Manila, at that time became #1 in Twitter globally. So we trended on social media globally. The hashtag was Save Angkas. And when that happened, I realized that it was only one decision. It was the path of least resistance. It was the path of hardships, not the path of least resistance. And I had to move forward kasi napaka-importante ng ginagawa natin. Ito yung impact ng ginagawa natin sa maraming tao. So, I pushed the envelope. I pushed on. And, lo and behold, 6 years later, after 4 shutdowns, we're still here. So that was my second shutdown, which means I had a third, right? And after the third shutdown, okay na kami, nagkaroon ng COVID, which is our fourth shutdown. So, and I'm proud to be in front of you today to report that after 4 shutdowns, we're here better than ever, and we have now made 50,000 of our bikers get out of the poverty line. 50,000 of the bikers, wala na po siya sa poverty line. And we hope to do it for more Filipinos, millions and millions of Filipinos nationwide. So now we're working very closely with the government, from getting shut down to now actually working hand in hand with them to really push the advocacy of alleviating poverty, right? So this is what I wanted to share with you guys, this journey that I have. I have 3 things that I want to share with you today. 1, how can you use technology for the ordinary people? How do you use technology to uplift the lives of people? And I think that's where we can really take advantage of new things and innovation and disruption or whatnot. It's really, paano natin papagandahin yung buhay ng maraming tao dahil sa teknolohiya. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to give you a different approach or a different mindset on how to solve problems, or how to make your new companies in the future, or how to make a really, really big new startup, right? From macro to micro. It's a little bit different na sa business school. Kung sino man nagbi-business school dito, sinasabi sa inyo, always get economies of scale. So, tuturuan ko kayo ng ibang approach na imbis na malaki, yung maliit yung tinitingnan natin. And then lastly, sino nagmo-Mobile Legends dito? Taas na kamay, sino nagmo-Mobile Legends? So, sino nagmo-Mobile Legends habang nagkaklase? Okay. I want to teach you my last and final point is the game of life, right? And why we should treat life as a game. So the first point is technology. We didn't create motorcycle taxis. We didn't invent it. Hindi namin ginawa yun. Before us, there were already habal-habals all over the country, right? And a lot of people has been trying to really push for the legalization, the legitimization na in pockets of habal-habal. Kaya lang, dati, bago si Angkas, yung habal-habal, sinasabi nila dangerous, di ba? Sinasabi nila hindi ligtas, right? But because of technology, nagbago yung dynamics. There was a new thing that could consolidate these bikers, train them, monitor them, and make sure every single ride was safe. So, ginamit namin yung technology, yun yung nagbago, to be able to innovate, not disrupt, innovate the existing habal-habal and professionalize them. Simple lang ginawa namin, train namin sila. Right? And what we did was believe in the Filipino people. Right? They were saying dati na, ay, bawal yung habal-habal kasi hindi siya ligtas. Dahil hindi siya trained. And when we trained habal-habals, our accident rate today, after over 100 million rides, is 0.003%. We're 99.997% safe. In fact, a lot of people are saying we're safer than condoms kasi yung condoms 98% safe lang yun. Diba? So, but that's another story. So, we use technology to be able to do this, right? And because of technology, we had that platform now to consolidate it and give them a marketplace, diba? So, when people think about technology, natatakot sila. When people think of technology, they believe that it's only for a select few, or it's only for influencers, or it's only for watching. No, technology has the means to disrupt and improve people's lives in the process. So kayo, mga entrepreneurs, mga future leaders, isipin nyo, how do you now use the platform, right, to change people's lives? Whether it's an environmental advocacy, whether it's pushing the stories of how sports gave you discipline and how sports made you push through trials and tribulations. There's many ways for you to use technology to uplift people's lives. And that's exactly what we did in Angkas. Which brings me to my second point. Diba? Hindi lang lagi technology. Technology is just a tool. Ang pinaka-importante is not technology. Ang pinaka-importante is not Instagram, it's not TikTok, right? You have an Instagram account, you have a TikTok account, right? That's not the most important. What's the most important? The content, right? What are you using the technology for? Yung content yung important. May Instagram account ka nga, hindi naman okay yung content mo, wala kang followers, wala kang likes. Diba? So content is the most important. So technology only scales it up. Diba? Siniscale lang ngayon. So imbis na meron kang content for just your friends of 5 people in school or in the house, now you have an audience of 1 million people. Or you can get to 1 million people. Same thing with me. Instead of, without technology, I can maybe have a few bikers and I can market for a few customers. The technology allowed me to scale the business. But content is the most important. So my second point is, when people tell you na always look at the macro, yung macro namin, which means para sa pangkalahatan, was to beat the traffic. That's what Angkas was for, di ba? You can go around the city kahit traffic, imbis na 3 hours, magiging 30 minutes. But anybody can create a ride-hailing app. Anyone, there's so many ride-hailing apps all over the place. And that's not the reason why we became the #1 ride-hailing app for motorcycles in the country. The reason why we became #1 was we focused on the micro. Na-realize namin, while we were beating the traffic and we were servicing the customers to beat the traffic, we were also creating livelihood and jobs. And that stakeholder is very important to us. Diba? That stakeholder now, we looked at the micro, what do they need? Before Angkas came into the picture, walang insurance lahat na nagmomotor. Ang insurance lang big bike. Diba? Sino nagmomotor dito? O, sinong may big bike? Mas konti, di ba? Konti lang yung nagbi-big bike. Mga BMW, Ducati, wala yan. Small population, rounding error yan. Lahat ng mga scooters underbone, walang insurance, walang accident insurance. Right? Which is really a hindrance for making it very safe for the public to use. So, we decided to see that to look at what the problem is in the micro and then solve for it. And from the big bike insurance na 3,000 pesos a year, nabaksak namin yung insurance per scooter to 600 pesos a year. Over 6 years. Right? Because we were thinking about the micro, yung pamilya, ano ba kailangan nila? Ano ba kailangan ng biker para dun sa kanyang negosyo? Right? So from macro, we changed our approach and looked at the micro. And that's when we connected with our bikers. That's when we had the connection. That's when we had a sticky platform. Because nagpakatotoo kami at talagang gusto naming malaman at solusyonan yung problema ng constituency namin. Yung mga taong gusto naming yung community na pinoform namin. Right? And now, we're expanding our insurance. Meron kaming pinatawag namin na family unit insurance. Diba? Ang ganda nun. Kasi lahat ng membro ng pamilya, si mommy, si daddy, yung anak, diba? Kasama na sa isang insurance. Pero isa lang binabayaran. Diba? So these are the things that we're solving for at the micro level, which makes good business sense. Diba? I'm very hopeful for the new generation. Kasi kayo, you care about the environment. Kasi kayo, you care about people. Hindi kayo masyadong nag-iisip about coolness. What you really do is you're more efficient. Kaya nga naging popular yung motorsiklo dahil sa inyo ay maraming salamat, di ba? Well, dati, yung mga dating bata, ay, cheap yan, hindi yan okay. Kayo naman, mga Gen Zs, you're like, no, it's cool because it gets me from one place to another. Very practical, very efficient. That's why I have hope for the next generation. And I know you can connect with what I'm trying to say. Because you guys always look for problems that you can solve. You always look for solutions. You are now thinking on how to recycle. You are now thinking on how to tell your parents and convince your parents how to recycle. I know you're thinking about those things, right? And now you have the ability to do it, right? Each and every one of you, trust me, I am the best example that one man's courage can spark a revolution, can spark a movement. So it only takes one to move mountains. On my last, since we're talking about problems, is I was talking about Mobile Legends. Diba? So, dun sa mga nag-Mobile Legends, or dun sa kahit hindi nag-Mobile Legends, naglalaro lang ng video games, diba? Pag nasisira yung tore mo, what happens? Ayaw mo na ba maglaro? Pag nasira na yung tore mo once, okay ka na, hindi ka na maglalaro forever. Nangyayari ba yon? Yes or no? Diba? What do you do pag nasira yung tore mo? You wanna play again. You wanna play again because now you've learned new strategies, you've learned your weakness, you've learned your strength, and you wanna get better at it. Diba? So that is the same thing in life. Bakit pag sa video game, sino nagma-Mario Brothers dito? Wala, no? Siyempre lahat ng nasa harap nagma-Mario Brothers. Hindi na nila alam yun. But, dati alam mo ba yung Mario Brothers? Walang save. So kahit nasa last level ka na, pag namatay ka, you'll have to repeat the whole thing from scratch. So minsan iniiwan ko yung Mario Brothers naka-on, pag pumupunta ako sa eskwelahan, tapos nagagalit ako sa nanay ko kasi minsan ino-off na hindi niya alam. Diba? And yun yung mga problema namin, yung time namin. But going back to the point, in video games, as soon as you lose, you wanna go back to the video game and play again and finish the level. You're excited and motivated to do that because now you've learned something new. Bakit sa totoong buhay, pag tayo bumabaksak, sumasama loob natin at nagkakaroon tayo ng konting depression na hindi na tayo umuunsad o umaabante. Diba? So dapat parang video game because we learn something from our failures. You know, you learn more from failures than you do your success. Right? Failures are only failures if you don't learn anything from it. If you learn something from failure, they're not failures anymore. What do you call them? You call them lessons. And we are filled with lessons. Right? Every single failure should be your motivating factor to give you a little bit more knowledge for the world ahead of you, for the task ahead of you, para bumalik ka. And I wanna tell you now, baka ma-shock kayo, diba? Yung problems natin sa buhay, sa negosyo, sa trabaho, sa bayan, will never end. Diba? So, imbis na nasi-stress tayo dahil may problema tayo, mas stress tayo sa solusyon. And if you fall in love with problems, then you will realize that you are in the best place in the world, the Philippines. Why? Because we have so many problems. And because we love to solve problems, what we have now are so much opportunities. Kung walang problema, walang negosyo, there is no reason to exist, there is no commerce. Commerce happens kasi we provide solutions to existing problems. Like what we did. May problema yung traffic, kaya nagkaroon ng Angkas. Kung walang problema ng traffic, wala ako dito ngayon. Okay? So guys, to the future leaders that I am so hopeful because your generation, you know, a lot of people say Gen Z, millennial, but you're the generation really that cares. You're the generation that gives a damn, that gives a shit about things. Diba? Lahat ng mga ginawa namin na mali, kayo yung itutuwid nyo, i-course correct nyo. So hopefully, you carry these three things, right? Carry it as ammunition, carry it as part of your toolkit, right? For number one, technology, use it, but use it for good. Use it to scale and uplift the lives of a lot of people. Number two, stop thinking about the macro, nandiyan na yan. If you do the micro, and you do a micro in 1 million people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, magiging macro din yan eventually. Pero start with solving one person's problem, and another, and another, and another, and another. And number 3, most importantly, fall in love with solving problems. Fall in love with the problem so that they can be opportunities. It's just a matter of perspective. It's the same thing. Two sides of the same coin. Now, I want to leave you with a request. Now that you have these 3 things, I hope you get excited to apply this in your own life. What I want you to do now is create something. Right? Create your own movement. You can join one, fine, but create your own movement. What problem will you solve now? And trust me on this. If you solve problems, it can be a lucrative business. If you do good, you can do really, really well financially. That is the next generation of entrepreneurs, those who have great ideas to solve world problems. And you can start with yourself. You can start right now. You don't have to wait. Right now, high school, college, you can start thinking about it and go well on your way to making the world a better place. Maraming salamat. Hope you guys learned a little bit from my journey.
Thank you very much, Sir George. Maraming salamat po for that inspiring talk. Now, please stay here as we call on stage our representatives from SM Cares, the Global Peace Foundation, as well as our home to present you with your certificate of appreciation and a small token.